When we're here, let the breath begin to flow. Deep inhales. Long, relaxed exhales. Letting it flow for us in and out. And beginning to connect with our intention. The intention today is the intention of fire. Connecting with that element. There's some mornings, like perhaps this last weekend, this morning for us, that are super cold outside. And these types of days are the perfect days to connect with fire, to connect inward to really the third chakra, the solar plexus area, where it's almost like we can create our own heat from within. So there will be different things that we do. We'll do a little bit of core at the beginning. We'll be doing some of the breath of fire 2 or 3 different times. And as we travel in towards some of the standing poses, we'll be doing some fun different flows, incorporating warrior 3 especially. That one's a very strong one where we have to hold up our back and hold up the leg all at the same time. So that'll be our intention, is connecting with the energy of fire, not only to warm ourselves from the inside out, but also to purify something in our life. Imagine you're burning off something. I'm very much a fire person. And so for me, if I've written notes before of, things that I don't want in my life anymore, and I will physically go burn that note. And in my mind, it's very symbolic for me for being able to burn off that idea, that thing that I no longer want in my life. So let's imagine in our practice, we're dedicating to something that we don't necessarily want to see anymore, something that we're done doing or saying or being. And in this way, through our practice, through this cultivation of fire, that transformative energy, we're becoming something new, something different, something better. And so with this inspiration of fire to lead us on, let's begin. Our knees can come into the chest. Put the hand on each knee. Let's do gentle little movements to get us started. We're starting to connect first with those lower chakras, but gentle massage. And first, easy way to connect with the core. Let's curl our forehead in toward the knees. And then inhale, stretch arms and legs away from one another. Exhale, circle all the way back into that center. Inhale. Exhale. And perhaps you're imagining starting your fire from here. When you're starting a fire, you have to be very tender. You cannot blow too much. You can't be too forceful. You have to have just the right amount of air and just the right amount of kindling. So imagine that's the type of firewood stacking we've got going on. Take another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Relaxing the head down, let the knees fall over to the left. Keep the arms and the chest spreading open. These moments of pause as we go through class today are going to be perfect opportunities for us to consciously connect inward. How does the body feel, and how are we consciously shaping our experience? For instance, if right now the heart feels like it's going a little crazy, how can I consciously affect my breath? Deep inhale and exhale to bring it back toward a more normal, more controlled state. It's like we're tuning into our fire, not letting it grow to a wildfire. We're tuning it back to that perfect amount that warms our body and doesn't burn us out. So you can stay in this shape. This is perfect. Or if you'd like to move toward cat chasing its tail, allow this top leg to straighten out to that side. So right leg is straightening. And then this right hand grabs the left toes, allowing ourselves to experience 3 things in one. We've got a spinal twist, a hamstring stretch, And in that bottom leg, the quadricep stretch. Know that you don't have to take all 3 of those if you just want to stay with the spinal twist, or you just want to let the top leg straighten. Any of that's beautiful as well. Good. Take another huge inhale. Exhale, knees together. Feel everything return right back to the core, right in the center. And from there, knees can tilt over to the other side. Arms are still spreading open. Feel how some of the muscles of the chest and the abdominal area are allowing themselves to get, sensation in different ways just by twisting. Maybe you move to the cat chasing its tail, top leg straightening out. Maybe left hand grabs the other toes, setting up 1, 2, or 3 things all at once. Good, another deep inhale. Exhale, hands can release. Everything returns right back to the center of the core. And from here, with hands dropping down by our hips, we're going to set up a series of 3 poses that we'll do back to back to back. So legs start to straighten up. We lower the legs down to a degree that the low back is still on the earth, so maybe 45 degrees. And then when we exhale that back up, drop just the right leg, and that returns up. Just the left leg and up, and then fingers crunch up to the toes. Good, repeating all of that. Legs down and up. Drop one leg and raise it. Second leg and crunch up to the toes. Good. Let's go for another 3 rounds of that. Legs down and up. One leg, the other, and crunch. 2 more rounds. Down and up. Right, left, and fingers. Last round. Both, and right, left, fingers up. Good. Drop the toes all the way down to the earth. Let's lift our hips up in a bridge pose. Maybe you can clasp your hands under your back, walking your shoulders under. Feel that nice lift. Keep the inner thighs squeezing together. And already, are we feeling a bit warmer than we were when we first started? Just notice. Taking a nice inhale. Exhale, hands release, spine returns down. Let's take a few bonus stretches. Right leg up to the sky. Just grab onto the back side of that leg and allow the hamstrings to stretch for us. Right ankle can go onto left thigh, and then let's give it a hug around that left side. Pulling it in, our hips can warm up. If we think about it, fire is one of those essential elements oxygen is one of those essential elements toward having a strong, powerful fire. So how can we allow the breath to continue to flow, constantly going in and out? Good. Good. Let's drop the right foot to the earth. Left leg can take its extension upward. Grab on, slowly stretch. And take that ankle up onto the right side and hug around that right side. Nice inhale. Exhale. The ankle can release. Let's work our way up toward a seated place. Let's enjoy a couple of breaths, relaxing forward into cobbler. Don't feel like you have to force anything. The body's still getting toward that state of being a little bit more warm for us for some of the exercises. You'll notice as we travel through class, the further we get toward the end of it, the more we're just going to stretch out our legs and our hips and all sorts of good areas. I imagine that as having a campfire, and then as the flames start to burn away, we have those awesome embers. Such a powerful, warm thing. It's fun to just watch the embers and what they do just as they're burning down. But that warm state is where we're trying to get to, that warmth without having to be all consuming. We're not quite there yet, we're still feeling our fire, but that's where we're headed, for that beautiful state of embers. So whether it's the neck relaxing down, or maybe the hips opening up just a hair deeper, see if you can find 3 more good relaxing breaths in this space. Rising up, let the right leg open out to the right. The left can just stay where it is. And I'll let this be up to you. Are you going to relax directly forward? Or would you like to try to stretch over that straight right leg? Just find that perfect spot that's stretching spots that are tight for your body right now. Like we're bringing a new piece of wood onto the fire that's getting started. Rising up, let's give a chance for the other leg to also kind of go into that flame. Notice what's going on with that leg. So maybe we're going toward the left side, or maybe we're going directly forward, your preference. And when we return back up, let's take it into just a simple cross-legged shape. We'll take a moment to kind of get into our shoulders, get into our neck, and then we'll get right back into that core. So imagine your arms. If you watch a flame, there's not really any structure, any shape to it. So imagine you're kind of letting your right arm just float up, and then your left arm. And it's like a flame that's just kind of touching on all the air all around. So we're alternating right and left. Just let each side have some freedom. Maybe you're playing with different angles, going a little bit behind you, maybe a little bit in front of you. Just play with each arm for a moment. Getting into all the spots that might need the attention. Good. Maybe both together for a moment. See what that feels like. Moving all around, forward, backward, up, down. Good. And then dropping the right hand to the right. Let this left arm lean over, but also still have some of that freedom, not necessarily being stuck in one shape. Good. And then as we lift up, switch sides, have that freedom with the right arm coming up and over. What spots need some attention? Maybe you're finding a spot to take a full breath in. Beautiful. And let the neck be loose. Oftentimes we're so rigid with the neck. You don't have to necessarily whiplash yourself, but let the neck have some freedom for a moment. Maybe it's rocking over the right shoulder. Maybe it's dropping down. You can always pause if you need to. It's like we're trying to take a good picture of the fire. Or you can just continuously move in kind of that free-form way, teaching the neck that it doesn't have to be so rigid all the time. Another full breath in and out. Then right back to sitting. Here, let's take our first breath of fire. So this is a breath where we start with an inhale, we exhale completely, and then we don't let the natural inhale come back in. We're not trying to inhale. Rather, we're pulsing out the exhale, and then the release of the diaphragm naturally fills in a little bit more air. So it sounds like this. Just exhale, exhale, exhale out the nose. If I take a pace that's a little bit too fast for you, you start to get lightheaded, go super slow instead. You can do pulse, pulse, pulse instead if needed, or you can stop prematurely. So I'm gonna take about 50 rounds at my pace. Again, go faster, slower, whatever you need to do, but let's start off with a normal inhale. Exhale all the way out, and then begin to pulse. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale completely, hold without air for a moment. Inhale completely, hold with air. Hold it a bit longer. And returning back to your normal breath, let's come onto our hands and our knees. So thinking of that same kind of flickering of the flame all over, that's the type of freedom we're gonna find with our spine. So instead of doing like the normal rigid cat-cow up and down, flowing like water, kind of let your spine just kind of flick like flames. So nice and easy. Maybe you're kind of in cow, kind of rocking your spine back and forth. Maybe eventually it shifts to more of a cat. Some freedom, or take any other movements that not only help to free and open up the spine, but also just kind of feel fun and feel like flames to you. Good. So the spine feels a bit more comfortable, a bit more loose. We're going to take a plank pose. Know that you could just stay in kneeling plank instead, trying to keep a straight line from knees up to shoulders. You could even go down to elbows if your wrists are giving you issues today. But if you can handle full plank with the knees lifted, let's try to take that shape. Remember, it's better to dome slightly up than to kind of collapse down. So here we're gonna hold for a while. Keep the breath flowing like we're a bellow right now, trying to get lots and lots of oxygen into that fire. Try to go hold for another count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Drop down to the knees. Float the right arm up to the sky and let that right arm be a flame. Have some freedom getting back into the shoulder. Lots of loosening of anything that's particularly tight here. Beautiful. Thread this right shoulder all the way down to the ground. We're in a spinal twist. The left arm could come around the low back, or it could stretch up to the top of the mat, your preference. So that shoulder continuing to loosen up from its rigidity. Bringing the left hand in front of the face, press into it. Take kind of a free-form cat and cow. Good. Slide back to neutral, left arm floats. See that flame, that little flicker, lots of freedom in the shoulder. If you notice the tight spots, maybe you pause there for a moment, slowly moving through it. And then maybe you continue to move back, the quicker action. Good. Let's begin to thread that left shoulder all the way to the floor. Choose what to do with the right arm. And in moments without action, and the breath be the big thing that's moving for us. Like we're still continuously feeding the flame. The right hand slides in front of the face, press into it. Another free form cat. And cow. Beautiful. Right arm back up to the sky. And even right leg slides to the back of the mat, finding this huge expansion. Maybe we continue to point the right arm forward, creating a huge arch from ankle to wrist. Good. Maybe that arm has some free form. Maybe the foot rises for a moment, feeling a bit more of that aspect of the core holding us up. As the right arm plants back to the floor, leave this right leg sticking straight back behind you. Left arm extends forward now. It's like we're an arrow. So maybe stay here or take 5 cycles, elbow and knee touching, and extending. 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Drop the knee down. Before we switch sides, walk the arms forward into puppy pose. This allows both shoulders another opportunity to stretch in a whole different angle. Heart is trying to magnetize its way down to the ground. Sometimes I leave the forehead down. Occasionally I can slip to my chin, but that does require a deep release, so don't feel like you have to. Good. Hands back in. We're kneeling. This time we allow this left arm to float up to the sky. Maybe left leg slides to the back of the mat, creating almost like a bridge pose, a gate. Maybe that arm has free form like the flame, or maybe it's stretching directly forward. Maybe left leg floats. And as the left hand goes to the ground, try to keep that left leg floating behind. Maybe right arm can stretch forward. Sometimes balance gets precarious, so if it's still doing okay, maybe elbow and knee touch together and extend. Repeating 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. When hand goes down, let's take downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Let's give some nice freedom to those legs. Imagine the legs are now what the flicker is. So don't feel like there has to be a structure to the movement. It can be kind of free form. Maybe we let the toes circle around. Maybe the hips are kind of wagging for us. What feels free like that flame? At some point, you'll be ready to head up to the top of the mat. Don't feel a rush to get there, but when you're there, just enjoy a nice forward fold for a couple of extra breaths. Maybe the head is rocking left and right when you get there. Maybe you have hands and elbow creases so that you can sway left and right. Kind of taking on the sensation of flowing like that flame. Good. So let's circle up to the sky. Don't feel any rush if your head needs extra time. Hands up, end up in front of the heart. Let's drop our left hand to the left side. Right arm circles up and over. You can pause or you can be that flame. Again, moving all around with that shoulder. Good. Rising up to switch sides. Beautiful. Coming back up, circle the arms up to the side. Forward fold. Nice half lift. From here, fingers drop down to the ground. We're going to try to float the right leg back behind us. And we're trying to stay. It's a nice supported warrior 3. It's a nice, easy variation of it. Know that as we get to future warrior 3s, if you want to return back to the supported version, you always have that option. Holding here, another good inhale. Exhale, let that back leg become heavy, stepping into the back of the mat. Drop the knee down. Right hand stays on the ground, left hand floats up to the sky. Maybe that flicker of the flame. Good. Hand to the floor. Sweep the arms up to the sky. Hips are still releasing forward. Dropping the hands down, front leg straightens. When we let those left toes return back to the floor, pick up the back knee. And we're going to shift back through that supported variation of warrior 3. So hands come forward, and then float the right leg. Start to feel the back muscles engage, the core engaging a bit more. When we drop that right foot to the floor, we're going to float up to a chair. So bend the knees, send the hips back. Hands can come to the heart. We either have the big toes touching and inner thighs squeezing together, or everything staying exactly in line with the hips. So from here, let's take another round of the breath of fire. If that's too intense for you right here, just maintain your normal breath and hold, trying to sink low. So if you're doing okay, inhale, exhale, begin to pulse. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, hold without air. Inhale, hold with air. And back to normal breath. Our legs are here just a bit longer, taking a little twist. Hook the right wrist, and then the left arm opens upward. Good, hands up through the heart, second side, left wrist. Right arm floats up. Good, back to the heart, the legs are burning. So let's give them a stretch, dropping the hands down to the floor. Left leg starts to float behind us, taking that supportive variation of warrior 3. So the leg lift, so the back muscles trying to engage to create that lift. When the back leg becomes super heavy, drop it to the back of the mat. Back knee down. Right arm floats up to the sky. Maybe free form like the flame. Good. This hand down. Hips are sinking forward and both arms start to float up. Dropping the hands down, front leg can go straight. Nice half splits. Letting that right foot find the floor again. Our hands start to inch forward, the front knee is bent. Pick up the back knee. Slide the hands forward, floating left leg, supported warrior 3. And dropping that foot down. Fierce pose again, it's like we're sitting into a chair. Again, maybe we're simply breathing while we're maintaining this. Otherwise, 50 cycles, breath of fire. Inhale, exhale, and exhale, pulse. And 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, hold without air. Inhale, hold with. Good. Press the legs straight. Circle the arms up to the sky. Drop the hands to the low back, taking a deeper back bend. Push the hips forward. The heart continues to arch up and back. Beautiful. So here as the spine rises, hands are welcome to just float at the heart. We're going to play with our balance for a moment. Shift your weight into left foot. Right knee just tries to rise. We're going to kick back to warrior 3. Remember, you can drop hands to floor. Maybe with this variation, we keep the hands at our heart. With the kick back, you could choose a nice low angle with those toes, if you can maintain the balance there. Or maybe you're floating more like a 90-degree angle. Starting to feel how the hips need to square themselves. The back holds its way up. The core is engaged. The leg is trying to lift. One more inhale. Exhale, land that back foot. Warrior 1, float the arms up to the sky. A little twist, so right hand tries to come forward as left hand goes backwards. Float the arms back up to sky. Inhale. Exhale, rotate to warrior two. As we drop the front elbow to the front thigh, the other arm goes forward, extended side angle. You could stay here. If fingers are going to the floor, you have an option to play with a bind, trying to wind the arms around that left thigh. Good. If you bound, release back open, take another inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Reversing it, right fingers to right leg, left hand up and over. Back up. Shortening through warrior one. And then hands at the heart. Let's try to reverse our way out so our torso leans forward. We start to lift up the back heel. When we feel like we can balance, we shift our weight onto the front leg and try to float whatever variation of warrior three we can maintain. And float this right knee up. Dropping that foot down. Let the spine melt all the way down, stretching through both legs together. Rolling the spine back up, second side, hand at the heart. Shift your weight into right foot, left knee floats. When we begin to kick it back, you can take the first variation of warrior three or any other variation, maybe a nice low angle, maybe starting to explore with 90 degrees. Good, softly land, arms float up, warrior one. Taking the twist, left arm forward, right arm back. And up. Inhale. Exhale, rotate open, warrior two. Right elbow down, left arm extending forward. Maybe you're playing with the bind, so this would be right fingers down, left hand trying to wrap around the thigh. If you take the bind, try to keep the shoulders feeling open to the side. Good. Releasing and rising. Reverse it out. And rising back up. Shorten the stance, hips facing forward, back through warrior one. Hands at the heart. Start to lean forward, picking up the back heel, launching off the back toes. So balancing warrior three. And float the left knee forward. Dropping it down. Arms swing up right by our ears. Keep them exactly in that spot. Right knee floats. Kicking back with this increased difficulty of the arms. Maybe we're not going quite as far into warrior three. You can inhale. Exhale, drop the back heel. Rotate directly warrior two. And then rotate the legs open to goddess. We're pumping up and down on the hips. Just kind of pulsing a couple of inches. Up, down, up, down. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten the legs, turn the toes forward. Drop down, wide angle forward fold. Grab onto the right ankle, pull the heart into the right leg. And grab onto left ankle, pull the heart into the left leg. Release through the center, bend the knees, roll our way up to stand. Turn your front toes forward, arms float up by the ears. Let's try to launch directly into warrior three over that front leg. And floating up, balance right knee in front. We're gonna take 20 cycles of breath of fire trying to balance here. So inhale, exhale, pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, hold without air. Inhale, hold with. Good. Drop that foot down. Take the hands to the hips. Push the hips forward. Take a little back bend. Good. We've got one more side. So float the left leg in front. Arms swing up by our ears. Launch that leg behind. Maybe again, we don't go all the way to 90 degrees. Maybe we do. And land warrior one. Directly to warrior two. And from here, turn open to goddess, pulsing up and down a few times. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten the legs, turn the toes forward. From there, bow forward. Leave the left hand in front of the face, right hand floats up to the sky. You can stay rigidly, or you can have free form with that shoulder. Maybe even taking a moment to continue to rotate that right hand to the left hip and continue to peel the shoulders open. Good. Switching it out. Right hand to the floor in front of the face, left hand floats. Maybe a moment with free form. Maybe that hand goes all the way to the right hip, shoulders rotating open. Release, bend the knees, float up. And from here on your heels, rotate both heels to the right side. The hips are square to that side of your mat. Slide the hands down the thigh, down the shin, and maybe to the floor. Nice pyramid. This is that point where we've got one last round of that breath of fire we'll do in just a moment, but besides that, we're just in the ember state. So give these legs, give these hips another chance to just stretch. Bending the front knee, rise up. Rotate on the heels until we're facing the other direction. And then slide the hands down the thigh, maybe down the shin, maybe to the floor. Bending the knee, rise up. From here, we're facing toward the top of our mat. This is going to be us stepping on that right foot and floating the left knee in front. Picking through a warrior three for a moment, maybe arms up by the ears. Till that last warrior three of the day, find the balance. And float the knee. Hands can be at the heart. 20 cycles breath of fire. This is our last one. Inhale. Exhale and pulse. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1. Exhale, completely hold without air. Inhale, completely hold with. Good. Dropping that foot down, circle the arms up to the sky. Land the hands at the low back, taking a little back bend shape. Rising up, circle the arms up. And just relax all the way down to the forward fold. We've got a few extra breaths here, so if you want to grab for the calves, if you want to place your hands in elbow creases, any of this would be absolutely fine. Dropping the hands down to the floor, step back into plank. From plank, start to take the right knee toward the nose, nice and slow. We're in that inverse state. And then rotate the leg toward pigeon shape and lower down into pigeon. All the way down to elbows. These embers going, you don't have to breathe quite so rapidly. You can consciously let it slow down just a bit. Planting our hands, tuck the back toes. We're lifting our hips up into plank so that we can rotate this right leg to the outside of the mat. So now this right leg is wide, lowering the hips back down in that arrangement. Perhaps we stack our hands and rest the forehead down. Taking a sphinx, elbows underneath us. Right leg joins the left, and then right toes float. Right hand can grab the right toes and pull them into a nice quadricep stretch. Release the hand. The toes are still in that pointed in shape. And then continue to rotate this right leg up, planting that right leg at our just to the outside. This is essentially setting us up to a seated place. So from that rotation, we've got this right foot planted, left leg long. So let's reach the right arm up. Right hand is trying to grab the left foot. Good. Maybe we stay here on the ground, or perhaps floating that left foot up. You let both hands grab left leg and continue to lift up to the best possible stretch. Dropping the leg back down. A moment with a twist. Left hand grabs this right knee or the elbow, and the spine winds around. Good, we're going to flip back around into plank. So hips need to rotate, tuck the toes. We're holding firmly. From here, left knee starts to come to the nose. Rotate into pigeon shape and lower down. Dropping to elbows, sleeping pigeon. the back toes, plant the hands. Lift the hips up so that you can rotate that left knee wide and then set back down. It's like a half frog. Maybe the hands stack so that the forehead can rest down. Left leg slides back, Sphinx. And then swivel the right hand in, so left hand can grab left toes and pull in. Good, and as you release, the left toes lift up and they plant to the outside of the mat. You continue to press up to the seated shape with the left leg at this time. Left arm reaches up to sky and tries to aim forward for that right foot. Maybe stay here or begin to lift the right leg, both hands helping that leg rise up to a beautiful stretch. And setting it back down. Right hand grabs the left knee or hooks to the knee, setting up for that beautiful spinal twist. Amazing. So from here, if there's any last stretches your body needs, this is the time to play with it. Maybe 1 or 2 last seated stretches. Maybe we're ready to go onto our backs. It's up to you to decide exactly when that perfect moment for Shavasana is going to arrive. Just keep on exploring until you get to that point. No rush to get there, but when you're there, sooner or later, you'll simply let the breath slow down. And imagine in your mind's eye getting to watch those embers as they're slowly, slowly, slowly dying down. For me, that's kind of one of the most fun parts of camping, is to get to be around that fire, watching the beautiful flames, and then still getting to be there for the different kind of beauty that the embers bring out. No rush to get there. When you're there, just naturally let that breath start to flow, simply in and out. Depending on what your schedule looks like, if you know that you're going to have time to just continue to relax for a few more minutes here, you don't have to get up. Otherwise, if this is for the end of this segment of your day, you'll begin to deepen your inhales, exhales, introducing little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists, stretching out like you're waking up first thing in the morning. Eventually taking a nice fetal position off to one side. When you feel ready to rise, we'll join our hands together in front of our hearts. Connecting back to this idea of fire. What ways would we like to allow this fire we've cultivated to change us, to transform us? Is there something we've burned away through this hour, never to need to return to it again? Is there something we'd like to continue to dedicate the rest of this day to? So with the inspiration of fire to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we got to share together with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.